Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to Health Talks with Dr. Okbe, and this is my second episode on the talk of abortion. On my first post, I mentioned that abortion has a slightly different meaning for the healthcare professional and the layperson. Of course, the acts or actions are still the same, but for the healthcare professional, abortions can be spontaneous, which the layperson calls a miscarriage, and then abortions can be deliberate, or in some climes people use the word elective. Yes, and there have been many rulings in many countries about the status of abortion. In Nigeria, it is illegal to have an abortion unless done with the agreement or consent of two competent doctors who are acting in good faith and who determine that the progression of the pregnancy will be detrimental to the life of the woman, will be a life-threatening action. That means allowing the pregnancy to continue will threaten the life of the woman, and that's when an abortion can be done. Because in the medical parlance, abortion basically means termination of pregnancy. Termination of pregnancy before the age of viability, which I explained was 28 weeks in many developing countries and 24, 22, or 20 weeks in more developed countries with better technology to sustain the fetus outside the uterus. Pregnancy. I'm going to talk about the duration of pregnancy. Pregnancy in humans typically lasts about 40 weeks. 40 weeks from the first day of the last menstrual period. And this 40 weeks is what we call the gestational period. And at 40 weeks, the baby is said to be term, though there is no exact, date or gestational age, but the range for a mature fetus is between 37 to 42 weeks. And so delivery can occur or should occur anytime between a range of 37 to 42 weeks. Delivery of a mature fetus, that's the fetus that's able to independently carry out basic biological functions like temperature regulation, sucking, crying, breathing, and physical activity at its level. So pregnancy usually is divided into 3 trimesters. You have the first trimester 13 weeks, the second trimester 13 weeks, and the third and last trimester. Of course, you say 13 plus 13 doesn't add up to 40 when you do it 3 times. We'll just leave that additional mark for the examiners, like we say. And why is this important? Because different things happen at different stages of pregnancy, and the distinction between an abortion and what we call a preterm delivery or a premature baby is usually in terms of its gestational age. Usually an abortion happens in the first 2 trimesters, whereas a preterm delivery happens in the last trimester. Now, the ultimate question, or one ultimate question, is when does life begin? Because this has been the question that actually somehow determines, the abortion argument, the arguments for abortion, the my body, my choice argument, the argument for when is it okay to deliberately stop a pregnancy. I've mentioned that sometimes it may be okay to stop a pregnancy for various reasons at various gestational ages, irrespective of whether it's before the age of viability or after the age of viability. Stopping the pregnancy is usually said to be in order when it is seen to be a deliberate threat to the life of the woman. Some people will say, it's going to affect my mental health, but the question is to what degree does it do that? So sometimes it's not a black and white question, but there are some set obvious parameters that I believe commonsensically can be used to judge and to justify whether an abortion, this time the deliberate termination of a pregnancy, is justified, is in order, or is even required. and we'll talk about this more in my next video. God bless you and do have a great day. Bye.